Hello everybody and welcome to this very special Trivium edition of Mosh Talks with me, Beez. Usually you can find me on notfest.com and the Notfest YouTube channel every single Tuesday, talking to all of the biggest and best names in the worlds of rock and metal and punk and hardcore and alternative. It's a good time, you should be there. But today I am talking all things Trivium. I'm going to be here talking to all four members of Trivium and a bunch of people behind the scenes on what is the global online metal event of the summer. Streaming live July the 10th, Trivium, a light or a distant mirror. Get your tickets right now at live.trivium.org. Why should you do that? Well, Paolo's going to be along in a minute to tell you exactly why, but let me give you some quick things that are going on the day itself. So the pre-show starts at 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. for my friends back home in the UK, and 9 p.m. in Europe, where I'll be there talking to some very special people, some cool people behind the scenes that are involved, including someone really, really massive that's involved with Full Sail University, where the show is taking place. Can't really give you too much about that now, but also in that pre-show, you get a full live set from Silosis, a 5-song set from the UK British metal terror Silosis, all part of the pre-show. Then an hour after that comes the show itself, a light or a distant mirror, a full arena level production. We're going to be taking you behind the scenes across this special, but the production is going to be unlike anything you've ever seen in the world of streaming thus far. Don't forget, every band that's been out there trying to connect with you, doing what they can, be it from a bedroom, for whatever, this is not that. This is a full arena level production taking place in Full Sail University, the full live show, 4 p.m. Eastern. Oh, you can do the time adjustments yourself or check the descriptions below. And then comes the post show where you will get the chance to ask Trivium questions. I'm going to be there. The band are going to be there, fresh and sweaty and hot from being on stage, answering your questions. So start thinking of questions now. Live.trivium.org. All of that for a absolute I had to stop myself from swearing there, for an absolute steal at $9. We are all going to be there, all in the moment together, but that's just me telling you what's going on. Why don't we talk to the architects themselves? First up, Paolo Gregoletto, bass player from Trivium and owner of one of the strongest social media games across all platforms, is here now to tell you how this idea came into being. Don't forget, live.trivium.org is the place to get tickets. July the 10th, a light or a distant mirror. Here's Paolo. Okay, taking time out of his busy schedule of clowning that geezer from Trapped on the internet, it's Paolo Gregoletto. How you doing, man?
Doing good. Just, getting ready for rehearsal. Stoked to be jamming again.
So, a light or a distant mirror, July the 10th. I wanted to ask you, when did this idea first start getting floated around? Because we've heard that the set was built and that there were elements kind of already built, prepared for the tour with Megadeth and Lamb of God. When did it start to turn into what we're going to get on July the 10th?
Right when everything went like kind of haywire with the touring, and we knew that like the summer tour was going to be, out of our plans this summer, we decided that, okay, we have to come up with something. We got to come up with an event. We held off because we were going to try something on the release week, but we were like, we don't have enough time to put together what we want. And we felt like if we had a couple months, we could build the stuff out. We could get all the pieces we needed together, and we could put a show together that would be worthy of people's time, people's money. And, we felt like this was such an important album for us that we didn't want to just release the record and not have something to kind of memorialize it with like a live show. Even if we can't tour this year at all, we wanted to have something that was special and that people would remember. So we turned it into, a live event, and then something that we'll capture and have forever and can live forever online is like sort of a live DVD, a live concert.
And was it killing you? Because I think what the Dead Men Say is the best album that Trivium have ever done, right? And that is a long time and a big back catalogue. And to have these songs finished and for touring to have stopped must have been killing you. To have these songs written and to have been so confident with them, it's got to be a pain in the ass waiting.
I mean, it definitely hurts to know, like, okay, we can't go out and do this live this summer. I guess to kind of put a positive spin on it, the way we viewed it was like, this is a challenge now. And we're a band that's had to kind of deal with a lot of ups and downs, and it's just part of what happens as a band. You have to kind of deal with the adversity that's kind of thrown at you. And, collectively, as the world is dealing with this, we have to kind of find a way through things. And our job is to entertain people, is to bring music into the world and to give people something to look forward to. And releasing the record on time was the first part of that, and putting on the biggest, best show we can for our fans all over the world at simultaneous, the best quality we could do, that was part two. And so I think having that in the back of our minds, that we're still working towards something, we're still, if we're not touring, we're still doing a show and an event. And I guess it's kept us positive, and we're just so happy to be rehearsing again. It feels great after 3-4 months. We're not a band that takes this much time in between playing, so just even being in here together again just feels great.
And so, it must have been a blast, because I know there are some wild elements going into this show. It must have been a blast to be part of the creative elements, because, okay, so we're playing this stream. Anyone, anywhere in the world can be part of it. That's incredible. When you start putting together the elements for it, has it been a really fun process when you factor in that it's going out to everybody and how you can play with the live concert experience within that?
Yeah, I mean, it's been crazy because, I feel like we were working on this show, going into the summer. So we knew that there was going to be, a lot of new elements and stuff that we had never really done. We were working with this incredible creative director that had, worked with Muse and all these incredible big bands that have, the best shows in the world. So we felt like we were already making this jump. So we felt like we needed to do something like this. And talking with her every week, we have a conference call, and watching it all come together and seeing the visuals and stuff come together for it has been exciting. And, I can't wait to see it all when we do the full rehearsals at Full Sail, and just seeing all the video content come together, hearing everything come together. It's very exciting, and even in this crazy time when it sucks that we can't do what we normally do, that we're kind of finding a new way to present our band. And, we've been doing the streaming thing for a bit, so we had a little bit of some experience with it, but I feel like this is a whole nother level than we've ever done. And, I hope maybe, it can lead to more bands kind of getting in and seeing this as a viable thing, when you're not touring, or if you're not able to tour, it's something you could still do.
So I'm going to be talking to your visual director and a bunch of other things, so I don't want to press too hard here. But my two experiences as far as production are concerned is, one, I got to interview Richard from Rammstein before they were going out on tour to talk about how those ideas come together, and the other is this is Spinal Tap and Stonehenge being drawn on a napkin. How does Trivium start putting this together?
Well, we kind of give the creative people around us kind of our initial ideas, and usually it's kind of a lot of different things, and they kind of, I think, are great with giving us okay, what's possible, what's within the budget of what you could possibly do. Because if you just say, what do you want the show to look like, and you just start saying, well, we'd like it to look like Rammstein. Well, if you got the money for that, that's great. If you're Rammstein, you can do that. But it's we have to put together the Trivium show. And of course, we want it to look, like what we do and fit what we do. So that's always the important thing. And I think being able to talk to someone that has worked with so many incredible bands and put on so many amazing live shows over the years, all genres at every single level of venue, it kind of puts into perspective what you really need. And it helped us to kind of visualize the kind of show we've always wanted for our band and what fits what we do. And it's been fun putting that together. And we always whether it's our art or production, whether it's live stuff, being able to work with all these incredibly talented people and kind of pick their brains. I always love that, because it's that's their expertise. And we're good at what we do. We're musicians and we can write songs, but to get that next level, especially with the live show, you got to talk to people and work with people that know all about it. And give them a little bit of creative leeway to kind of put something together for you. And everything they've shown us, we've just been like blown away by.
So tell me if I'm overblowing this, right? Because we grew up with live albums really meaning something to us. Like, I think of my youth and I'm like 101 Proof, Pantera, Live Ship, Binge and Purge, Metallica, and Cunning Stunts while we're at it. Like, Disaster Pieces. Yes, like all of these things. And I was talking to Riley from Power Trip on my show last week.
Yeah.
And he was like, I don't know about live albums these days. And to me, what this event is it feels like how I felt about live albums back then. This is with technology and everything like that. This feels like the first time someone's creating something that truly feels like not a replacement for the live album, but certainly the Jetsons 2020 versions of it.
Yeah, like I think we had back on In Waves, we did this thing called Chapman Studios. It was like a live crowdless thing where we just played a couple songs, and like I just remember how much fans really, really loved that, and how at the time it just felt like kind of a promo type thing, and then it became something much more than that. And I kind of agree in a sense. Like I kind of agreed. I feel like with Riley, where it's like, where does like a live album fit into today's, music streaming services and stuff like that? But the fact that like this insane, like once in a lifetime event has just hit the world and totally taken the entire music industry off of like touring, all the normal things. I feel like this for us. And I was saying this to Matt and everyone the other day. I was like, I feel like this is going to be like a real like time capsule for us, and maybe for music in general, of just like, how did artists create music, create art in a time when they couldn't do what they normally did? And this is our take on that. And I'm going to be really interested to look back, maybe 10 years from now and be like, wow, that's going to be really wild to watch, and when it's all in the past, we had this moment where like we decided to create like our live album, our live DVD in real time for everyone around the world in a moment when no one could really be together, and like bringing people together to watch this not be able to be there in person, but to be able to experience it live as it's being put together. And I think it'll be really interesting. And again, it's like sometimes you got to just take these opportunities when they present themselves to make something. And we had an album already, so for us, it was to create a live experience.
Mate, I got legit goosebumps as you were saying that. I'm not even kidding. So, last thing from me. There's going to be a post-show. Like, I'm so honoured to be part of it. There's going to be a post-show where fans can call in. Like, Trivium's got one of the most die-hard cool fan bases anywhere, not just in metal, but in music, full stop. What are the best kind of questions that people can start preparing for that post show? What are the best questions that you get when you meet fans?
Yeah, I mean, we've definitely, it's like we're a band that like, I mean, we kind of started like MySpace was our way of connecting to fans, and it's just interesting how it's just morphed over the years. And I've talked to a lot of fans that have bands of their own, and like it's been really interesting to kind of hear like how they're dealing with the pandemic and how they're putting music together and what they're doing. And it's kind of cool to kind of get, questions regarding that kind of stuff of like, what have we been doing these couple months while everything kind of shut down, like how do we put this together? What kind of kept you positive through it all? Those kind of things I think are always interesting to hear what fans want to hear about what we do. And I love to hear, because like a lot of our fans are musicians and have bands. So I've been, encouraging people to like, keep at it, keep in contact with your friends and keep playing. And like, you're going to make some amazing music, because this is this is like a once in a lifetime event, and it's scary, but the possibilities to make something good out of it are there, and we're doing it. I think they can do it too. And I hope, when we come out of this, there's a bunch of new bands that have, incredible music. Like that's what I'm looking forward to, because I know that there's people that are trying, and just because our fans are musicians, a lot of them. So I'm curious to hear what their questions are for us, but also just to see what they come up with, during this time.
It's going to be amazing. Like all of us there together, July the 10th, a light or a distant mirror, live.trivium.org. Make sure your questions are prepared. Be there live so that you can ask them. Paolo, thanks so much for your time today, man.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Paolo from Trivium there. You can find him slopping that bus on July the 10th. Live.trivium.org for tickets. A light or a distant mirror taking place. Then, next interview comes from Matt Hafey, and he's about to make some incredible points about this special, something that I forgot to say in the intro. Don't forget, this special, when you see the band playing live, everything you see is exactly that. 100% no holds barred live. You are going to be able to chat and interact with the band as they're on stage, but this is going to be a 100% live event. If you can't be there live because of time zones or whatever reason, you can buy the special and watch it as many times as you want on VOD 48 hours after the event itself. So there's no excuse to not be there. Live.trivium.org. But if you can be there in the moment, here is Matt Hafey to tell you exactly why it's going to be so special. Okay, you join us kind of laughing because I was just asking, how busy is life at the minute, Matt? So I'll ask for the benefit of everyone else. How busy is life at the minute, mate?
It's weird. Everyone, like, I keep seeing stories. I think it's gone one of two ways. Everyone's either super bored or like furloughed or unemployed right now, or everyone is busier than they've ever been. I am currently busier than I've ever been in my entire life. Let's talk about last week. Last week alone, every morning I was waking up, warming up. As soon as I wake up, get my twins up. My wife and I make them breakfast, get them ready for the day. As I do my vocal warm-ups, so I record vocals for my black metal project, Mrityu, with Ishan from Emperor by satellite like this, and then immediately jump into streaming. So then I do my stream and then immediately do some jujitsu. My friend and I have made a pact that we would only train with each other. We have seen no one else in the world other than our own wives and our own babies. So then we do jujitsu, then I jump on for the second vocal recording with Mrityu and the second stream. And then it's off to my kids, get them ready for dinner, bed, dinner, all that stuff. And then over to here as we also plan stuff. And then we added in band practice all last week as well.
And you say all of that and not a word about the event of the summer when it comes to being online and metal, when a light or a distant mirror happening July the 10th. Mate, I know that you have been kind of streaming shows for years, and now we're starting to see, because of the situation that we're in at the moment, other bands are starting to join that, and the vibe of this whole project was to be bigger and bolder. How did the idea develop?
We had been talking about it for a while. Like, the original plan before the world shut down was to do something with What the Dead Men Say. And as soon as it came out, we're going to do a live stream show. The idea was always us playing the record from start to finish. And the first idea was us at our practice place. And then we said, let's blow this out a little bit more. So then we're talking to Full Sail, the amazing school that we did our record at. They shoot WWE NXT. That's basically the room that we're shooting our show in. It's the same place that they do that. So it's super equipped, super incredible, great staff, great production company and everything. Then the world shut down. And then we're like, okay, well, so we can't tour on what's hailed as our greatest record ever. That's kind of weird. And we were thinking, what else can we do? So we sort of try to set up a show again, and we realized it was too risky at the time to do that. So we put those plans in the back burner. As everything started to get fixed, we're like, all right, let's talk about this again. Got it all set up. Of course, the world got in a weird place again. But thankfully, the big message with us on this show is that just because we're doing a show, we don't want to show that we feel we're above this pandemic that's happening. But instead, we're taking every single precaution in the practice. At our practice place, it's weird as hell to see. First time I've seen my tour manager and my guitar tech and our security guard in ages, but we have to stay away from each other. We're all wearing masks and we're all keeping our distance and being smart. And that's the way we're going to do this show. The same way we're going to do this show. Everyone at Full Sail has all agreed. For us, and even to be able to do this, we all said everyone has to wear masks and gloves, stay apart from each other, keep this thing very minimal. And obviously, being singers, once we get up on that stage, take it off, play our shows, put it back on, and then we have to leave and be very impersonal with each other. But the main message of the show is that we want to give to our fans again. And with this show, we decided to build staging. So we built custom staging. We actually hired the incredible stage designer, Suna Ray, who has built Muse's stage from the last tour. So she is as good as it gets, and our favorite stage builder, who we never thought we'd be able to work with this soon. building those carts. They've got integrated video walls into it. We've time coded the entire set, which is something we haven't done before. But we had Josh Wilbur make music in between songs, something that we've never really played with before, but actually have thought out every single detail of this thing and really wanted to blow it out. Multiple cameras, proper audio, not just a collage Zoom, so the reality of the Zoom jams is that they have to happen. And it's cool that they're happening, but we wanted to go far beyond that, and we wanted to truly give people what we would give them for a show. And so that's why we decided to make this thing a full-on production with our road crew, with our gear. We're not even using like digital modeling amps anymore. It's like vintage guitar amp heads. The same setup we'd use for a studio setup is what I'm using for guitar, is what Corey's using for guitar. So the audio is going to be top notch, video top notch. Everything's going to be, there will be no stone left unturned for this show.
Yeah. Well, as someone that's been sort of involved on the back end of things at the moment, one of the things that I this is, I'll be frank, Matt, this is the most excited I've been to be part of something since the first time I did television, because it's so fresh, this idea, because the internet is truly interactive. When we're watching you on Twitch, or when we're on Twitch or in any capacity, you really feel like you're hanging out and like you're part of something, and bringing that interactive nature at a time when we can't go to shows and we can't interact. You can interact with everyone in the world. We're doing this pre-show that's going to have a big fight feel, but the post-show afterwards, where you're going to come on and take calls, like, this is more that, while I'm like the sound's going to be amazing and what you're doing with the amps, killer. To me, making this such an interactive event feels different to anything out there.
Absolutely. Yeah, because we've been doing, as you mentioned, we've been live streaming our shows for the last 3 years. Every single show is currently still available on my Twitch. It's for free. You just go and watch it. And what that is just, it's a camera, board feed in. But this one, we wanted to specifically make a show for this, specifically make a show for this exact event, for what's happening, for our forced disconnectivity. And yeah, it's gonna be fantastic. And there is a line of like figuring out what it is, because it's not like my home stream. My home stream is chill and there are jokes and I mess up and we kind of laugh and it's very personable and it's connection. It's not a live show because we're not there together in person. But it's to find what that line is in between, and to have that connectivity and to be able to give. And that was the main thing with this record, with What the Dead Men Say, and with my stream that I do every single day. It's and Trivium, we want to give people that relief. We know people are currently laid off. We know people are furloughed. We know people are working from home but watching their kids at the same time, or locked up, trapped up, can't do what they want to do, are stuck. And some people are doing this thing very right, and we keep encouraging that. And that's why we want to keep giving. That's why I do my stream. It's to give people a place to hang out with people, give people a place to have a sense of community while we have to be distant. You know, there's some people that are just locked up in their house by themselves for the last 4 months, and they're feeling that loneliness. And we want to give them a connection, whether through our record, my streams, and now absolutely the show. Bring people together, celebrate life as we can't be together. But my big thing since I was aware of COVID happening, was it's about physical distance of people, physically distancing, but keeping social connectivity. Social distancing, I feel like, is the wrong word, and it's been the wrong word since the beginning, but physical distancing is the important word. Keep us physically apart, but socially connect us so we don't feel like we're alone and that we're trapped.
On the day itself as well, it's just going to feel like this moment where I'm here in LA, like you're there in Florida, someone else is watching in the fucking North Pole, like just this moment that we're all together. I wanted to ask you about A Light or a Distant Mirror. Is, of course, it's a line from the title track of the record. What made it right for this particular project?
I think even when I think about that line now, because what's been great for me in Trivium is that with the last 2 records, Paulo has written a lot of the words, or a lot of the vocal melodies, a lot of the songs. And for me, not even asking him every time what everything means. And that's why with all the interviews I've been pushing, we don't want to tell people exactly what everything means. Instead, we want people to come with their own definitions in there and what they feel the song is. And when I first saw that line, A Light or a Distant Mirror, it's like, I think of the light at the end of the tunnel. I think of that space in between, life and death, that space in between reality and imaginary. And is it the light at the end of the tunnel of what all this is? And I feel like symbolically, A Light or a Distant Mirror this thing is a light for everyone. It's a ray of hope. It's not just something that you're grasping at that is reflecting off yourself. I don't know. I think that he's got a really great way with words, as do Corey and myself with lyrics in the band. And I think that it just felt right. It felt so correct, and it reached out. And he's the one that picked it too, because we're like, what should we call this thing? And he pulled out that line. I was like, there you go, man. Well done.
How have rehearsals been? Because of course this is like going to be part of a Trivium special, like where I've spoken to the other guys literally while they were in their rehearsal in your rehearsal room. How's it been, and how was that first moment where you got to go in and play your first song together? Like, I can imagine was a moment.
It's amazing. I mean, everyone knows me. Like, everyone that has known me in person knows I'm a hugger. So it's so weird to not be hugging people. Like, it feels wrong, and I'm not hugging people because I've been a champion of doing this thing right since the beginning. It's crazy. From the very first song, it was as if we have not taken a day break since our last tour. I'm so lucky that everyone in this band is as addicted to being good at what they do as I am. Like, it's not just me that puts that rigorous, insane schedule on my abilities, but it's everyone. And it's crazy. At the end of the first practice, we scheduled like 6 hours for day one because we haven't been together in a long time, because it was just about getting monitor mixes and get everything fleshed out. So our crew had everything set so we can get in and play for a couple of hours and figure it out. I think we only played for like 90 minutes, and our tour manager's like, all right, that's good for day one, figuring it was going to take 6 hours. But it's just that the four of us love it so much. And by day two, we were getting the rest of the songs, and day 3, 4, 5, or day 3 and 4, we're playing the set from start to finish, and it was perfect. It was perfect. It was as if we have not taken a single day off since that Australian tour.
So I'm a sucker for big productions, man. Like, I love the big bell in the background when I go to see AC/DC. Like, these things matter. Is this the biggest production Trivium have done to date?
I tried to bring fire into there, but being a university, they're like, we can't have fire on our campus, and we can't use fire on the WWE stage. So no, there's no fire, unfortunately. But it's going to be, for the fact that we actually physically had everything built and used our favorite stage designer, and then even figure out the in-betweens, because we've always had our in-betweens really well fleshed out. Like, all right, this is where we hold out our guitars and I talk. This is where we cut off our guitars and I talk or don't talk. But this time we actually had Josh Wilbur create new music that would transition between every single song. So we showed him the set list, and we're like, well, can you make what would fit this space from here to here and properly transition us from here to here? Because it's different, because we can't necessarily just like stop a song and have the crowd cheer. That it's going to be silent. It's completely silent, and maybe people clacking on their keyboards or on their iPhones. But it was thinking out all those details. The thing that I just look forward to is being able to have that direct one-on-one, and knowing that everyone is essentially doing what you and I are doing right now. They're just like, all right, we're home. We're still trying to figure out how to be functioning, connected people of civilization. And I think that's such a good thing. I think it's going to be very good for people's mentality to be able to talk to one another, be like, hey, there are other human beings here with me. I'm not alone right now. And that even makes you think of some of the lyrics from What the Dead Men Say, just that whole idea. And so this record's crazy. I was just talking to my friend who called me. It's actually Korn's security guard, Big Sleep. We're buddies, and we've been buddies for years. I gave him and Head a yoga lesson way back on a Mayhem tour we did together. And he just wanted to call just to catch up and just talk about stuff. And we were talking about like how good it is to be able to catch up with another person, how good it is to be able to hear from someone else, just to have someone check up on you. I thought that was so amazing. He just wanted to call just to be like, hey, how you doing, man? And then we're just catching up on life. So I feel like that's what this show is going to do. It's going to allow people to come together for something that I don't want to say it's irrelevant. It's not the right word, but it's kind of the greater cause is bringing people together for one common love. Like, where we could be a restaurant, we could be food, we could be a show, we could be whatever it is. But the fact that we're able to bring people together and have that connectivity and that positivity and that looking forward to something, that's what we all need as a civilization. That's what we need as a people. That's what I know I need in my life. And I'm happy that we get to, once again, at least in the last 4 months of all this planet being what it is, being able to give people the record, the streams, and this show. And I was telling Sleep as well that it's crazy looking at this record, because as I look at this record and I look at the themes of what this record is, it's as if we wrote this during this. It's as if we wrote this within this last 2, 3, 4 weeks, but we didn't. We wrote it before. We wrote it like a year and a half before. But the fact that it fits in right now, I don't know. It's eerie. It's all sorts of things. But I'm glad we're able to get it out of our system and hopefully able to get it out of the systems of our fans, and that we can show our fans our belief system. And our belief system has always been fighting for everyone's right to live on this planet together, as long as we're not hurting another. Like, I've always been a champion for everyone and for everything, ever since Ascendancy, ever since Declaration. We've been very clear about the fact that we are champions and we fight for people to be able to just live and to love and to be loved. And that's what our music is about. That's what the community is about. That's what our band is about. It's about bringing all of that together.
Yeah, and it being truly global means anyone anywhere can be part of that. Mm-hmm. And so, like, the art is such a massive part of what the Dead Men say. They wouldn't let you have fire. But is this event about kind of playing, like, I don't mean to say playing the medium, but like knowing how you're broadcasting and making that experience the best it can be, rather than like, you know, what we're used to from an arena production, like fire. Fire's great when you can feel the blast of the heat when you're there, but this is about bringing something unique within this medium the way we're doing this.
Absolutely. And I've been so fortunate in that when I took the gamble and the risk to jump over to Twitch, and it was Paulo, he was the first person 3 years ago that said, when I was like, I'm going to try maybe YouTube, he's like, why don't you try Twitch instead? And he was the one that inspired that, just in that little conversation. And with that happening, and to be able to do these shows and to be able to really learn the medium and now become the champion for even Twitch. I mean, when you go to help.twitch.tv, it's a bunch of videos of me explaining what Twitch is and how to stream and what the ethos of live streaming is. And I've always shown and explained that it's about that two-way connectivity. It's about streamer community, streamer viewers. It's that direct interaction and correlation. So knowing that going into this, it is different. It is a different approach than trying to get people to do something, because that's when you typically feed off of that. So it's a medium that I feel incredibly comfortable in. My band does as well. And I think that from all the home streams, I really do. I won't be able to have the chat room right in front of my face, which would be cool. Maybe we can figure something out on that.
But you are going to come on and chat afterwards, which is
absolutely
rad. Like,
absolutely.
So a final question from me, because I know how busy you are at the moment. But you mentioned your project with Ishan, and I couldn't help but notice on your Instagram today that you were talking about finishing vocals. This project has been touted for so long. Are we nearing the completion of this project, Matt Hafing?
I have always loved black metal. I started kind of working on ideas of this in 2009, but the real idea of Mritu started in, I believe, 2010. So it won't come out till next year. So it would have been 11 years, taken longer than Chinese Democracy, but it'll be better than Chinese Democracy. And it would have costed about 1/100,000th the amount of Chinese Democracy. It's incredible. Today was the final vocal trackings. I actually sang in Japanese for all the verses in the pre-chorus of the song, which is very difficult. And it's amazing. So yeah, it'll be 11 years in the making when it finally comes out. It's incredible to be able to do this with one of my all-time musical heroes. I mean, Ishan started off as a hero who became a mentor, who became one of my closest friends in the world. So it's amazing to be able to kind of show off that other musical muscle that I've always loved so much.
Are we going to hear the vocal muscles being taken in different directions, Matt?
Ishan's challenge to me was, he's like, I know you've been doing Trivium the way you've been doing it forever, but my idea to you, didn't say a request or demand, but he's like, my challenge to you is that you don't scream this at all like you scream Trivium ever, and you don't sing this at all like you've sung Trivium. I was like, that's all I know how to do. He's like, you'll figure it out. So I had to figure out a completely the opposite. I'm doing the opposite of everything I did on Trivium on this. It was hard to do.
Right, I will leave it at that because, you know, I don't want to spoil any more surprises. The next time I will see your lovely smiling face will be July the 10th. Don't forget, live.trivium.org is the place to go and get tickets. A Light or a Distant Mirror is happening July the 10th. Honestly, you have never been part of anything like this. We'll see you July 10th. Matt, see you then, mate, and good luck with rehearsals and everything, and I'll see you on the day. Thank you so much for having me part of your big day as well.
Oh, yeah, man. Thank you for being a part, man. Love you, dude. Take care, man.
There he is, Matt Hafey from Trivium. Don't forget, keep an eye on Matt's social media because he's going to be doing all kinds of cool stuff on Twitch next week in the run-up to the event itself, July the 10th, A Light or a Distant Mirror. So, when Trivium were putting this together, and when Trivium were coming up with all of the madcap concepts that are going into the show itself, you need someone truly special to implement those ideas. And that is why we welcome our next guest. Suna Rutia has worked with some of the biggest names in music, full stop. Seriously, in a moment, when I ask her, so whose shows have you put together? The names that she mentions are insane. That is yet another reason why July the 10th, this is going to be a really, really special moment. Live.trivium.org for tickets. Here she is. It's Suna Rutia, stage production manager and creative mastermind behind a whole bunch of what you're going to see on July the 10th during A Light or a Distant Mirror. Here's Suna. I'm joined by Suna Rutia, who is the overall designer of the stage and all kinds of things that's going on as part of this Trivium special. Suna, everyone mentions the word Muse to me. What other bands have you worked with, or artists in any regard, when it comes to all things stage design?
Yeah, I started my career with Chevelle, actually. And then I was lucky enough to meet some pretty amazing people that kind of passed me along and taught me the ropes. And I worked with Audioslave and Seven Dust and Rage Against the Machine, Kiss, Motley Crue. So I've had a pretty lucky go-around in the rock world. Also done a bunch of pop and hip-hop as well.
Who have you done in pop and hip-hop?
The Weeknd was a big one for me.
Right.
Time. Also, Halsey.
Gotcha. So when you work with an artist and it comes to designing the logistics of things and the overall concepts and all the rest of it, presumably the artist comes to you with an idea and then you translate that through knowing the medium. Is that correct?
Yeah, it all depends.
I like the I love the diplomacy there, Suna. Sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. It's awesome. I love working with people who have an idea of what they want. Sometimes I work with a creative director, and the creative director will tell me exactly what type of look they're going for the overall tour. Sometimes I develop it directly with an artist or a creative director or a manager. Sometimes it's a production manager. It's always different every time. I think that's what I love the most about my job is it changes constantly. It's never the same process. Yeah.
Presumably it changes depending on budget or venue size, because like I speak to musicians all the time, and when they make the transition from say theatres to arenas or arenas to stadiums, the process of filling that venue changes the way that they write music and all kinds of things. Is your job to kind of connect to that person at the very, very back of the arena, like to make sure that they get an experience too?
Yeah, and also the sides, right? Like that's a big one too, because these days promoters are selling a lot more on the sides of the stage, especially in an arena. So a lot of times when our jobs, we're always like building the show directly out front and center, but only like 10% of the audience sees from that location. So right. I always try to walk around the arena when I can, or around the club or the theater, whatever venue I happen to be in. Sometimes I don't get that opportunity, but I try to as much as possible. It's important that, everybody gets a show in some way, shape, or form. And it's different depending on where you are in the room, for sure.
So what is particularly fascinating about A Light or a Distant Mirror, the Trivium event happening July the 10th, is that the medium has changed as well here. So in the way that I was just asking if it's like for everyone in every seat, when everyone around the globe has the same view, how does that affect what you're doing? And is this something truly unique, even for someone like yourself who's worked with The Weeknd and Muse and all these other people?
Yeah, I mean, we're basically making sure that the camera shots are great, right? So we always want to make sure that no matter what the camera is picking up, you're seeing something in that camera shot that is relevant to the stage as a whole. So, for example, like if you see the lights that are flashing on, a close-up of their heads or on their guitars or drums, whatever, that is intentional. It's intentional so that you can see that there's lights and energy and movement. So even when you pull back, you'll see the full shot, but it's also that you want to make sure that the shot that's close up is also has energy and you can feel that.
And so, like, when we are told arena level production is what's on the tagline, without giving anything away, how have you designed this particular a light or a distant mirror experience for Trivium and their fans?
Well, you guys are just gonna have to wait to see. I can't give away any secrets at all. All I know is it's a very unique design for a band like this, for sure.
So when it comes to this being a streamed event, are we going to see visuals other than the band?
Maybe.
This is like I don't. Hey, I have to ask. So when we do lighting and mood, are you brought in, because I know that Metallica had a particular shade of green that was literally named after them through their lighting on their tours, right? There is a shade of green that is Metallica green. Do you have to fit mood with songs and those kind of that kind of thing?
100%. And it's hilarious that you say that, because I know Metallica's manager, because he also manages Muse, and he hates the color green. So I love that. he like actually sat me down on. I lit one of their songs. I lit Psycho in like 3 different shades of green, and he was like, I can't stand that color. Anyway, I digress. However, so I mean, there's this word that's been tossed around a lot in the past couple years, and somebody had to tell me what it meant. I worked with a specific artist that like had this thing called synesthesia, and so like when I listen to music, I actually visualize color and shape. It's a weird thing.
Right.
Like a kick drum to me sounds like almost like a comet, like it's like a harsh front with a tail at the end, and so like I always visualize color as well when it comes to that. So depending on what the song is, it's a weird thing that I have. I've always had it. I didn't even know it was a thing until somebody pointed it out. But yeah, there's definitely color and shape for every song.
And did you have to get inside Trivium's music for this to all come together?
Yeah, I typically, when I start working for an artist, I always try to listen to their music as much as possible. Like I drill it into my brain. So. And that's really the only way that you can come up with a design that works for them, right? Because you need to understand their music. You got to understand the way that they're going to perform it on stage. There's a lot of research that goes in on the front end on something like this.
And so now that we're in the year 2020, and because you work across, I know, right?
Please go away.
Because you are, like we're counting till December 31st, like January 1st, 2021, it's going to go, surprise, it's all cool. So when you're working with various different artists and drawing from different inspirations, when it comes to harder music and what we do here on Mosh Talks and within Knotfest, are there any kind of current trends in 2020? Because Muse's last stage set was all robots and whatnot. Like, is there a general thing that's going on within rock music at the minute that's working its way into stage design, or am I overthinking this?
I don't know. For me, whenever I work with an artist, I always try to key into their album cycle and like what's the theme or what are they trying to represent for a specific time of their career and their artistic outreach. And so it's different every time. I've seen a lot of trend towards like this sort of like 80s, 90s nostalgia lately. And I don't know if that's going to continue on in 2021 because obviously like that's what we're looking forward to right now. But yeah, there's been a lot of that, but honestly, like this one was not that way. So I think it really depends on what an artist is trying to represent on stage, how they're trying to present themselves and what their art is currently that they're trying to, you know, play for their fans. Yeah.
So this stuff fascinates me just because I'm used to dealing with music. Thank you so much for your time today, man.
Thank you. It's really fun. This is a career that a lot of people don't know that they can have. So I think it's really important to make sure that people know that, like, you can do this if you want.
And if that doesn't have you fired up, I don't know what will. This is a truly unique production, and to see what someone who has worked with The Weeknd and Halsey and these really big, hyper modern production jobs does with someone from the world of rock and metal, I cannot wait to see it myself. And I know more than you lot do. Trust me, July 10th, live.trivium.org is the place for tickets. I'll see you there for a light or a distant mirror. Right. Here we go. Next guest. There's a couple more to come. Don't forget Alex Bent, drummer from Trivium, coming up a little bit after this. Next up, we're going to talk to Trivium's manager, Justin Archangel, who's going to tell you some of the seriously cool things that are going to be happening for you, the fan, on the day itself, July the 10th. But here we go. Shredman, Riffmaster, Axelord. I really wish I hadn't said any of those things. It's Trivium lead guitar player Corey Bolio here on Mosh Talks with me, Beez. Corey, it's been forever since we spoke. I literally cannot remember the last time that we had a chat. How are you, mate, first and foremost?
Doing good, man. We're rehearsing for the live stream, so that's cool because it's been a while since we had something to do. So enjoying jamming, especially the new songs that we haven't played since we did the record. And other than that, just been hanging out at home, just kind of trying to get through everything, entertaining myself. So it's been pretty relaxing, with not a whole lot, no touring. So that's kind of a bummer, but it's just, a lot of home time.
When you have got a record like What the Dead Men Say, and it's been received as well as it has, it's an album that sounds like you were having a blast when you were recording it. Was it a nightmare whittling down what songs make the Trivium set list?
I think it was, at least for this, for the first stuff we were doing for the new record, like what we're going to play. Since we, the record came out, usually past records, the record would come out like right when we're touring or right during a tour. So you're just kind of playing it by ear. But, with, the record, coming out a couple months before we were supposed to start touring, the record was out there, people got to live with it. And we kind of got feedback from the fans, which songs were kind of resonating the most with people. So we kind of picked the songs for the live stream, and kind of the first step with what we're going to play live. We just kind of waited for the fan feedback and kind of picked the songs from what was kind of the most chatter, with the fans. So it's cool to be able to just kind of pick your stuff just based off of just the fans, intensity or, likability of the song. So, I think with the live stream, the songs we picked, I think are, the ones that people are going to be the most excited to hear live for the first time.
And were you even on the road when Catastrophist come out? Have you even had the chance to start playing that live yet?
No, we actually have never played any of the songs from the new record live. We were the only song since we finished the record. We played, we rehearsed What the Dead Men Say and Catastrophist back in, I think it was sometime in March, because we were supposed to go play Knotfest Japan and a bunch of shows in Asia in April. So those two songs were out prior to those shows, but obviously those shows didn't happen. But we've rehearsed those songs, and then that was it. So now we're rehearsing a bunch of other songs that we haven't done since the record. So it's been a lot of fun to, the songs sound really good. With the full band playing them again and kind of learning all the parts that kind of we added in the studio from jamming them prior. So it's been a lot of fun to play all the songs. So it's really excited to kind of introduce them to the live set, and it's they kind of fit really, they kind of just really fit in the set really well with the rest of the songs from the back catalog. So it's been a lot of fun just to kind of hear it all come together.
So Matt's been doing what I think is called a shit ton of press for this record. So I feel like I've spoken to him loads about what the Dead Men Say. So I'm stoked to get your take on this, because with it being the first time that there's been a true continuation, the Sin and the Sentence and What the Dead Men Say properly locked together, and it feels like it's part of the same core sound. When you go out, the thing that I find with those two records is the song structures are just riff after tempo change after, like, there is a lot packed into each songs. When you find a feel like that, does it make it really, really cool when you are 10 months into a touring cycle like you were on the Sin and the Sentence and you're still really excited about the songs? Was that part of the thing that caused that continuation?
I think it was like, when we did the Sin and the Sentence, we were really excited about the record. We felt like we were really onto something really cool, and we figured fans would be really excited about it. And once the record came out, it just kind of blew our expectations out of the water with the fan reaction and how much they wanted to hear all the new songs. So we knew, like, once we once we heard and kind of saw the reaction, that when we were going to follow it up, we knew we couldn't do like a 180 and like do something completely left field or do something different from this record. We wanted to kind of like build off of what we set up, and it was a very natural thing. We just came into our rehearsal spot, and we had a bunch of song ideas and demos and stuff, and we just started jamming like we did with the Sin and the Sentence, and just kind of naturally just let feel the songs out and just kind of let them build and kind of I guess in a sense kind of like write themselves. You kind of know when the feel of that particular song is in the ballpark and where you're looking to go with it. And we were just felt really strongly about this record that it was going to be an awesome follow-up, and people were going to be really excited about it. And just playing the songs in rehearsals, it feels great. I wish we could play these songs in front of people, because I know, like, the crowd reaction with like singing along or moshing and stuff like that would be amazing energy with how these songs are, that hopefully the live stream will kind of give us a little taste of how excited people are to kind of experience these songs in a live environment. Yeah, we're just we're just had a lot of fun. We always enjoyed just getting together and jamming together, and there's a lot of fun stuff that happens in our room here when we're just getting together and just throwing ideas around. There's a lot of stuff that kind of unexpectedly happens where you're just like, oh, that just really makes the song even better. And you can't really, I guess, do that on your own at home on a laptop. So we just really embrace the four of us in a room, kind of old school garage band style writing and jamming and stuff like that. So that's like kind of a lot of the magic of the last two records has happened, is just, as you see the backdrop, this is the room that a lot of this stuff happens in, and we wouldn't change the process for anything.
Oh God, no! Like that makes so much sense as well, because I see you and Matt's guitar like link up totally in the lineage of like KK and Tipton and that kind of thing. There's a real duo feel to what you guys do, especially on these last two records, where it feels like you really trade off against each other. So I feel like you could really hear that. And you mentioned the live stream. Is it one of the big things about the live stream that really stands out is no people in front of you, but arena level productions, and anyone anywhere in the world can be part of it? Is it mind blowing that you're in Full Sail University and someone in any corner of this globe can be there with us at that point in time? it's just insane to me. I see the Travis Scott Fortnite thing and all these moments, and it's insane to me that Trivium have got their own moment like that.
It's going to be pretty awesome because just thinking about the whole concept of the live stream, and just like thinking about just kind of like our fan base worldwide, like how we have so many diehard, amazing fans all across the globe, that it's like if they all came together at the same time, it's like how many people would that be, and so it's going to be interesting to see, like, when it all comes together, like how many people are actually like all joining together to experience this. And we didn't want to do just like something simple. It's like, we've been building and creating this whole stage production, for what was going to be the tour cycle. So we already had all this stuff being built, and we've been planning this for months. And then now that the touring side of things is not happening, it's like, what can we do to make something special for the fans that they would be really into, that we can kind of help celebrate and promote like the new record. And this whole live stream thing came together, and Full Sail's been amazing, doing the record there. And I graduated from there. So it's like we have like this connection with the school. And, and then seeing over time, like over the last couple weeks and months, seeing the kind of the production come together, and seeing more of the details of like all the stuff that we've never done in our live show before, and seeing it, like, it's made us really excited to play the show and just see it ourselves, because, we've been seeing stuff like on the like emails and computers, and seeing all this other stuff that's added to the show that is going to make it really fucking awesome. Like there's a lot of like, we've never had like any kind of video stuff going on stage, and we have just like, it's just like next level for us. Cause we've always tried to like have like a really interesting, fun show. And, we've definitely stepped it up a lot from where we left off with the last record. There's a lot of stuff that new elements and stuff that we've never had before. So when people come to this, join this, this live stream, they're going to see like, a Trivium show that they've never seen in person before. So hopefully, seeing the live stream eventually, when we get to be able to tour again, it's kind of like an advertisement. It was like, I got to see this in person now, because it's so, cool and interesting. So we're definitely bringing all the, as much as we can to make this, a really amazing experience for all the fans to come join and, experience with us.
It's going to be awesome, man. Like, 2 last questions before you go. What did you graduate? When you graduated from Full Sail, what was the subject? Like PhD in shred or what?
No, I went to Full Sail. I went for recording arts. So I was like all the studio stuff. So I did that, and it was cool to actually go and make we recorded the record at Full Sail. So it was kind of like, I guess the opposite. I was like doing my major, but I was like on the opposite end of the spectrum with being the musician, not the recorder. So, but it was awesome to be there and seeing how the school's grown. Because I think it was like 15 years since the last time I was there. So it was cool to, kind of be back on campus and kind of experience the, everything that that school offers. It's amazing to see how crazy it's grown. And then the facilities that we're going to be doing the live stream in, they weren't there when I was going to school there. So there's like all this other cool stuff that we have access to that's going to make the experience even bigger and better than probably a lot of people are expecting or think that we're going to, pull off.
So last question then, man. So 3's company, but 4's Trivium. Why are you the only guy not on Twitch, Corey Bolio?
I've been asked that a lot, and the other guys, before it was just Matt and Alex, and then quarantine, and Apollo got sucked into the stream thing. I haven't got into. I don't really play video games all the time. Like every once in a while I play, but I don't do it consistent enough to warrant streaming. And then just during my downtime, I just like, to make the streaming and Twitch thing, I guess, makes sense. It's like you have to put a lot of time into it and do it like daily or, pretty consistent. And with just kind of like my normal day-to-day thing, I just don't really have the schedule to make it make sense right now.
Yeah.
I just don't I don't have the regiment schedule like Matt and some of those guys do. They were just like every day at the same time. Just like, well, some days, I sleep in or, I do something random. So I haven't got into that yet, but there's never say never. Maybe someday I'll jump on it or do something. But I guess we haven't been on break long enough for me to snap and need something else to do.
I can't believe it's the first time that I've spoken to you in years and I'm giving you shit at the end of the interview. Corey, lovely to see you, man. A Light in a Distant Mirror, July the 10th. I can't wait to be part of it. Thank you for having me part of it, mate.
Awesome. Thanks, man. Good talking to you, dude.
Cheers, Corey. Don't forget, if you are enjoying these chats and these interviews, I talk to everyone from the world of rock and metal and punk and hardcore on notfest.com on my show, Mosh Talks. Over the course of the first month of the show, I've spoken to everyone from Corey Taylor to Tommy Lee from Motley Crue, Winston from Parkway Drive, Nurgle from Behemoth. As I say, all kinds of genres go into the show. So join us, notfest.com or Notfest's YouTube channel. Go and check it out. Come on, I'm here. I've got to do a little bit of plugging. Okay, next up it is Trivium's manager, Justin Archangel. I felt it was important to let you know just how much value you are getting for your $9 and some of the logistics and how much has gone into a show of this size and this magnitude. When I say it's going to be the online metal event of the summer, I truly mean it. People are going to be talking about this for ages after it happens, so make sure you're there. live.trivium.org is the place to get your tickets. Here's Justin, some very cool things going into this show. Stick around after this. Alex Bent is going to take us home. Freshly limbering up there, Justin Archangel, Trivium's long-standing manager. Mate, like being involved in a Light or a Distant Mirror, and having worked with Trivium for years, like both myself and you. I remember once upon a time when I was in London, when during Shogun, when the Metal Hammer Golden Gods, we totally samurai themed it and did this whole thing, right? So Trivium are no strangers to doing ambitious stuff, but on the sliding scale of ambition, just how high does a Light or a Distant Mirror rank on that?
Yeah, it's our biggest challenge right now is really sort of telling the story of the level of show we're trying to do here. And it's honestly like what this started from was that, band was supposed to be out on the road in June with Lamb of God and Megadeth and In Flames doing this massive tour across North America, and everything was going to be great. And we were working on a big show for that. And then obviously COVID happened, and, we came up, we were trying to think, what are we going to do? We had this whole really cool show planned and nothing to do with it. And then, then the idea of doing a live stream came about, and then, the band decided to go forward in this strange time to continue to build this show and figure out a way to give it to the fans or show it to the fans. But I mean, this is a whole new visual show for the band, new stage, incredibly large light video installation project. Really, it's a giant art project, and I've never been through anything like this before, and it's been months and months of work of pre-production to figure this thing out. But I've seen some visuals. It's going to be awesome, and this is not your Zoom jam, nothing like that. This is like something from Trivium you've never seen before, and it's been a lot of effort, and it's going to be well worth $9, which is what, 7 pounds? That's like a beer. That's like down at the pub. Like, come on.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. And something that's fascinating me, and I pushed Sooner on it a little bit, and she was tight-lipped. So I'm going to ask you as well. Something that's fascinating about this stream is that this is one of I would argue, the most tech-savvy band in the walls of metal.
Yeah.
And what is fascinating to me is bringing arena-level production, but also playing the medium. This is a stream. In an arena, you have to worry about the person who's sat at the back. Because this is streaming, is this exciting to be using it as an interactive experience? This is an in-the-moment thing. We are all in this together for that hour or so.
Yeah. That's an interesting question. There's a lot. I mean, first of all, it's going to be 100% live. So the band will be playing in real time. This is not pre-taped. So that means band's performing live. That means all of the production is happening live. That means somebody is mixing the audio in real time live. That means somebody is mixing, 10 cameras of video feeds in real time. So that's a lot of like in the moment decisions being made to bring this to you. And on top of that, each one of those little elements has, months of planning to go in with them. And it's a little scary, to be honest, because it would have been really easy to pre-record this and then edit it and make it sound unbelievable. But, one thing that's interesting about Trivium, they're tech savvy, but they're also really good players. They could, they take pride in knowing how to play every song inside and out. So they're going to be playing live. This is not like them playing over a recorded track. Like, this is full power, real Trivium that we've wrapped this sort of really high tech visual presentation around them. So it's still human. They're playing and it's, their fingers are moving and their voices, but it happens to be wrapped in a pretty amazing high-tech package, if you will.
One of the things that Matt was very keen to push forward, and certainly, like, as someone that's going to be involved with connecting Trivium's fan base and the band on the day itself, something that really stands out as being human is the need for connection at the moment. We're all in we're using digital spaces to stay as connected as we can be, but something that is a global event like this to really all come together in this one moment, and the way that works its way into the show. So the ability for a fan who has bought a ticket to interact with the show is one of the things that makes this truly unique.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's going to be, in the stream itself, you'll be able to have a live real-time chat with, everyone who's watching. We hope to be releasing some, different, band-generated emojis, which are pretty specific to Trivium. And then, Matt will be doing his best to, kind of get the vibe of, what those fans are doing in real time and kind of interact with that. I mean, that's the biggest challenge with these sort of stream performances is how to make them human and how to have some interaction. And, it's not easy. I hope we get it right. And, if we don't, we'll take notes and figure it out for the future. But it's been a wild thing to put together. I mean, I know so much more now than I did 3 months ago when this was just a little idea. We sort of dove in and it's pretty intense.
Yeah, I bet. So final thing from me as well, like the post show is like I'm so honored to be part of it, but mainly because I love the fact that anyone in their bedroom is going to be able to have the chance to even, like, we're working on trying to get phone calls to be able to happen as well, right? Like, you might literally be able to talk to the band.
We've got to figure that out, and I don't know. We'll figure something out where we could, I mean, really, there's two elements to that. One, we wanted, back to the human thing, like having you involved also helps put a face and a personality to help frame this and have some I mean, this could have just been press the go button stream, but we're taking, we want, more, a more human approach to it. But then after the show, that's when you're going to host a Q&A Twitch chat with the band fresh off stage. And, that will be whether that's taking questions on the Twitch stream from and having the guys answer it right after they got off stage. We're going to be doing maybe a merch drop then, a giveaway, multiple giveaways, and if we could figure out how to take voice calls or something from fans right after, that would just be amazing. So we have we got to mark that down here. We got to make that happen.
Right, July the 10th, I'll be there, he'll be there, you'll be there. live.trivium.org is the place to go and get tickets. Justin, thanks so much for your time. I cannot wait for July the 10th, man.
Can't wait. Thanks, Beez. Later.
Cheers, Justin. Just as someone that spends way too much of their spare time on Twitch, the second he said Trivium emotes, I was like, get that in my life, Justin. Okay, one more interview. Here he is, Trivium Sticks Man, Tub Thumper. No, I'm not doing it again. It's Alex Bent on the drums from Trivium. This is Mosh Talks with me, Beez. Alex, live from Trivium's rehearsal room. How have rehearsals been going? I haven't asked any of the other guys that question yet.
It's been going great, man. It's kind of felt like we haven't really stopped playing. I mean, I can't complain at all. Everyone's pretty stoked on everything, and it's just getting tighter and tighter each day that we jam. So we're all really happy with it.
So, with this being your second full length with the band on What the Dead Men Say, I want to just take you back to the Sin and the Sentence and the recording process first, because, I don't know if it would be how it would be walking in to a legacy band like Trivium and recording your first record, right? Uh-huh. Were you you come across as quite a cool customer though? So were you fine with it by the time that you got to recording, because you'd been playing with them for a while? Was it a cool experience? Because it feels like What the Dead Men Say has even more strings to your bow, almost like the Sin and the Sentence was getting into the stall and feeling it, and this one has really been you coming into your own.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean, it was a great experience from the very beginning. But yeah, if I remember correctly, I believe we went and we did a European tour first before we recorded. So I was able to get a vibe with the guys live and, get to know them and hang out and stuff. So that was all good. That was all really awesome. And then I had done a lot of records before Sin and the Sentence, so I was pretty comfortable in the studio, right before I was jamming with the guys, I was working a lot. So I felt pretty confident, and I just went in there just with the mindset of I just want to make sure everyone is happy, and I just kind of let loose and let it hang out, and they were really stoked with it. And then on this latest record that we did, it was the same thing, but just a little bit more of now I'm comfortable. I feel a little bit more established in the band, and now it's time to try to take it to that next level, try to outdo myself, I guess, in a way, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it totally does. And with a couple of years touring before going into the studio on this one, presumably getting inside so much of Trivium's material, where does the line exist between here's what Trivium have done traditionally on a drum sense, and here's what Alex brings to the table? How do those two things correlate when it